Hi guys and girls, welcome back to my channel, Life and Literature. If you're new here, hello, I am Emily. I do a book review every single week, or something book related really. So if you're new, hi, welcome. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done already. Today I'm going to be reviewing The City of Ashes. If this is something you'd be interested in, then please keep on watching. So this is book 2 in the Mortal Instruments. I have already reviewed the first one, City of Bones. There is multiple, so this is the second one. So then you've got City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, and the City of Lost Souls. So I am going to review all of them. I have read all of them. This one in particular, because I feel like the characters are developed more, the storylines are a little bit more in depth and detailed compared to the first book, because I found the first book you're learning so much about each of the characters and their dynamic with each other, as well as the ongoing issues that are going in the background and what's led them to them points. This is a massive character development plot book, and I'm going to read the blurb to start off with. It's only a short blurb, it doesn't give too much away. So, haunted by her past, Clary is dragged deeper into New York City's terrifying underworld of demons and shadow hunters. But can she control her feelings for a boy who can never be hers? Now, throughout this book, I am going to do, pre-warning, a little bit of a spoiler video because there is so much that happens in this book. I feel like with the first one, it's very easy to kind of shy away from some of the stories that have happened and some of the big plot lines. But in this book, there's no way I can review it. The writing style is the same. It's still beautifully executed. The characters are very in-depth and detailed and interesting. But I feel like this book, there's so many plot lines I need to talk about. I'm not going to explain and talk about all of them, but I feel like I need to talk about something with this book. With The City of Ashes, it starts off with the fact that, big spoiler, Jace and Clary are siblings. They are brother and sister, and throughout the first book you could feel the sexual tension, you could feel their relationship starting to develop, and their interest with each other romantically was really put at the forefront of kind of what Clary was dealing with, at the same time as dealing with everything else with her family. And also learning about the shadow hunters, demons, the role that she plays in all of this. And she starts the beginning of this book really with kind of the fact that Simon, her best friend, has admitted that he was in love with her in the last book, and he has loved her for pretty much her entire existence in his life. And they start to have a relationship, they're together, which doesn't settle well for me. Like, I'm not saying that she should be with her brother, but I'm saying that you shouldn't just settle for anything else anyway. Just now, their dynamic is too much like friends. It is very much more brother and sister than obviously her relationship with Jace. Now, throughout the beginning, Jace is dealing with a lot. He's got a lot of turmoil, he's got a lot of things going on himself personally, as well as the fact the person he is falling for is his sister. He's very much shown at the beginning of the first book that he's very egotistic, he loves himself, he's so enamoured with himself, he's in his own little bubble. I feel like because he is going through a lot and he's got his own issues now, like the fact that he has literally been given something he can't have, he kind of battles that internal, doesn't want to be told what to do kind of thing, but also this kind of relationship he's starting to develop with Clary, and she really starts to depend on him with the knowledge and kind of where she needs to be. She almost doesn't feel at first that she wants to, or really knows that she wants to be part of the Shadowhunter world, even though she is a Shadowhunter herself. Now, other characters start to come into play. So Simon starts to get a bit more screen time, you could say, because when in the first book they went to Hotel de Mort, I think it's called de Mort, Hotel of Death, he gets bitten. So when Clary goes to save him, and she does save him, unfortunately she doesn't save him in time and he does get bitten. So because he realises or starts to be drawn there, he meets the kind of leader called Raphael, and Raphael kind of shows him and tells him and explains that he is a vampire, he can be a vampire, but the way to become a vampire, Clary finds out, is that he has to be buried, and when he emerges he becomes a vampire. There's a series of events that lead to Clary being the one to decide, and she decides that she wants her boyfriend, her friend, more than anything at the forefront, to be alive, to survive in any shape or form that is. So she decides that they are going to bury him, which is quite an emotional moment for her. It kind of really pulls at your heartstrings, because you feel for this horrible decision she's having to make, and she's already been through so much. Now, at the beginning, another character comes into play, and that's the Queen of the Sealy cult. She becomes this kind of mystical entity that Clary kind of encounters, and she goes to visit her, as I think it's requested. She goes to visit her with Jace and Simon before Simon fully becomes a vampire. And the thing is with the Queen is she does like to play games, and she kind of knows at what strings to pull. She senses this really big dynamic of Clary fighting against what she desires, Jace fighting against what he desires, and poor little Simon not really understanding or knowing that all of this is really going on fully. And she begs the question to Clary, whilst having them restrained, that she must kiss the person she most desires. And she of course kisses Simon, and that does nothing. That does not save him. The only thing that saves him is her kissing Jace. Now, it's led up to this moment, and it's quite early on in the book, and it kind of shows Simon realising that no matter how hard he tries, there's some connections, no matter how long you've known someone, there's some connections people just can't break. And sadly, this is one of them. So he kind of goes off, and that's where his kind of own storyline progresses. I feel like this book really develops each of the characters. It doesn't keep... Clary is still quite a main focal point. She is quite a main character still, obviously, because the book is centred and is around her, but it feels like they're bringing new characters in as well as developing their current ones, and it's quite nice to see dynamics change. It's nice to see Simon not so in the background. It's nice to see Jace having a bit more depth to his character and having a bit more of a story. Something's upset him, attacked him, and it's affecting his life, and he's not just pushing it away or pretending it's not happening. He's showing an inner turmoil in the book, and I think that's quite beautiful to see, that it's not just Clary that is being affected by being brought into this world, it's how the people around her are being affected by her being in this world now. So it's all leading up, all these characters, these development, these subplots, it's all leading up to this huge ship scene where they come together and they try and defeat or try and obtain what Valentine is doing. And if you haven't read the books, then you need to, but Valentine is Clary and Jace's dad, obviously, and it leads to this big moment where all the characters are there. They're all there to kind of fight against this huge evil that is continually threaded into the whole book. It's what they're aiming for. It's what they're leading to. They are fighting this one common enemy, and that's what keeps all them characters together in this moment. And Clary has to stay involved because at the end of the day she wants justice for her mum. Jace is being involved because he wants justice, but also he wants to know why Valentine's done what he's done. And Isabel, Alec, Magnus, Clary, Jace, they are all leading up and gearing up in the background of this entire book to fight this big one common enemy, and they all have their own individual reasons for it. If they're protecting one another, whether they're making sure that really their own questions are answered. I think Clary and Jace, obviously it's very personal to what Valentine is and what he's doing, but really who he is, this kind of person that's just suddenly come into their life and it's become their entire surrounding. So I think this book is, as well, it is so beautiful. I love the writing of Cassandra Clare, these kind of worlds that she can create in such almost a small little package. I think it is my favourite book series that I have ever read because the characters in it are so beautiful. I can see why a film was made and then a TV show was made, because no matter what you like with fantasy books, this really has it all, and these characters are so amazing and beautiful. And I feel like as well, even Alec, who I really didn't like in the first book, his little, it's only slight, I feel, but his development in the second book and his kind of help towards the fight is really lovely. I think the Lightwoods together, their dynamic is really interesting and fun to read. So I really love this book. If this is something you'd be interested in, then I have put a link for the book in the description, because I always do. Now, if this is something you're interested in, please like it, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.